Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum brothers and sisters. Inshallah, in this video we are going to discuss on how to find the minimum sample size so that we can use that sample to estimate the population proportion. Okay, now we start with the confidence interval formula. This is the formula that we already discussed in 6.5. Okay, what is your p hat? P hat here is the sample proportion, right? Okay, and then plus minus E. E is the margin error. So we have here p hat plus minus Z alpha over 2 times the standard deviation of the sample proportion. Okay, now let us focus on the margin error formula. For this margin error formula, we have Z times the standard deviation of sample proportion. So we have Z times the square root of P hat times Q hat over N. So now we want to find what is the value of this N. We will rearrange the formula and solve for N. So you'll have your N is at least P hat Q hat times Z squared over E squared. Why we need to use the at least symbol? Because we want to find what is the minimum number of the sample size so that we can use that sample to estimate the population proportion. Okay, is that clear? Okay, now we move to how we are going to estimate P hat and Q hat since we do not know what is the value of P hat and Q hat. For Z, yes, we can know by looking at the percentage of the confidence interval, right? And the margin error is always given in that question. Okay, there are two methods or two ways to estimate P hat and Q hat. Either you want to use the most conservative estimate, okay, which give you P hat equals to 0.5 and Q hat equals to 0.5. Or you can refer to the preliminary sample given in the question, then P hat and Q hat will be based on that sample. Okay, in example number 1, we want to determine the minimum sample size needed for 95% confidence interval for the population proportion with margin error. This is E. E equals to 0.02 by using the most conservative estimate. So when we want to use the most conservative estimate, we have to know that our P hat and Q hat is equals to 0.5 respectively. Okay, and then for 95% confidence interval, okay, we can get from the normal table where you have to find the area for 0.0250. It will give you 1.96. Okay, when you substitute in this formula, okay, you will get the minimum number of N. Okay, this is your Z squared times P hat times Q hat over E squared. Okay, equals to 2401. So make sure in our sample, the minimum number of sample size must be 2401. Okay, so that we can estimate for the population proportion. Okay, in part 2, we want to use the preliminary sample. It is given that P hat equals to 0.3. So what is your Q hat? For Q hat, you just take 1 minus 0.3, which will give you 0.7. Okay, so as usual, we find the Z value, okay, for 0.0250. Okay, so we have 1.96. Okay, so we substitute in this formula. So this is your P hat 0.3 and Q hat is 0.7. So you'll have the minimum number of the sample size to estimate the population proportion is 2017. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.